The day I went to fix my front tooth, I ran into the ex-boyfriend I'd dumped. He gave the order without mercy. Alex. The next second my phone rang, I accidentally hit speaker, and Maya's voice burst out. Dr. Harrington seemed to change into another person. This will hurt a little, don't be scared. Maya asked, why is there a man there? My mouth was wedged open, all I could do was garble. Dr. Harrington kept going, Jordan, I'm going to use some force. Me? I swear he was doing it on purpose. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. 1. I broke half a front tooth playing hero on the street and finally dragged myself to the hospital for dental bonding. I never expected to meet my ex-boyfriend, Dr. Harrington. The man still looked like a moonlit breeze any passing dog would have to steal a second glance. Back then he played with me exactly the way he'd play with a dog. The first thing he said after all these years was, wallet ready? I clutched my little purse and wept inside. Is it going to be super expensive? Could you use the cheapest stuff you've got? It depends on the patient. You're still allergic to half the planet, and it's your front tooth we're talking about. He didn't need to finish. I could already hear my wallet waving goodbye. Hoping our old ties still counted, I asked meekly if there were any other options. You guys ever need people for promo shoots? I'll volunteer, no fee, just fix the tooth for free. Our hospital doesn't, but a ray of hope flickered. Hospital staff families get a 30% discount. Then how about we get back together? The words flew out of me. Dr. Harrington shot me a glare. Serena, it's been years since the breakup, and you're still a penny-pinching miser. I snapped back. If I weren't tight-fisted, would I have dated you back then? Back then I only signed up because of 2-for-1 milk tea coupons. Dr. Harrington, born with a silver spoon to 2 professors, had zero clue how us common folk suffered. I'd regretted that relationship big time. He looked serious and dignified, but was actually infantile to the core. Brainwashed by romance novels, he demanded rituals, gifts every other day and return gifts in kind. My expenses had skyrocketed. I'd only myself to blame, blinded by his pretty face. When he couldn't out-argue me, Dr. Harrington ground his teeth, told me to lie back, and started bonding the tooth. In a last whimper I asked, really no discount? No. Fine. I sniffled, lay on the chair, and sent Maya a voice message. That side hustle you mentioned, still hiring? I'm game, I need the cash. Before I finished, I caught him sneaking glances while tidying instruments, then muttering, if you're really broke. His sentence died as Maya's reply arrived. I tapped it without thinking. Ah, you're really doing it. Girl, you're actually hustling to ransom a duck. Crash. He'd knocked over the tray of forceps and picks, tools clattered everywhere, and he stared at me like a horror movie ghost while I gulped. 2. Silence thick enough to slice. For 3 whole seconds under Dr. Harrington's gaze I regretted picking this hospital. Running into an X on the chair is basically surgery-level terror. He fetched the exam light and aimed it at my mouth. When that spotlight hit I felt I was under interrogation. He was gloved and masked. Only those famously soulful eyes showed, still dripping tenderness even at a stray poodle. But his voice stayed arctic. Alex. I'd barely parted my lips when my phone rang, Maya again, and I accidentally hit speaker. Her voice boomed out, hey babe, miss me? Got time tonight to keep my business hot? Queen, tone it down. Lately he's gone roast duck crazy, keeps nagging me to buy, and I've gained 3 pounds. To prove freshness he even keeps a live duck tied by the truck, a pedigree that could flip for big money. I was about to haggle when cold steel slipped between my molars. Suddenly Dr. Harrington turned gentle. This will hurt a little, don't be scared. Maya paused. A man? Why is a man there? I howled through cotton. He leaned in. Jordan, I'm going to push harder. Don't worry, leave everything to me. I promise you'll be satisfied. Maya squealed and hung up. Me. Even through the mask I caught his chuckle, laughter brimming in his eyes. He was absolutely doing it on purpose. By the time he finished I felt half dead. He helped me sit, then turned to print the invoice. Avoid hard foods, come back if it throbs. I nodded, remembering Maya's duck errand. Does roast duck count as hard? Duck. Those 2 syllables flipped a switch in him. Forget it. So much for duck. I pouted and headed out when he called me back. He looked conflicted, then finally spoke. Serena, it's been years, don't you have anything to say to me? Something important popped into my head. I nodded. His eyes lit up. What is it? I tried to speak but only drooled vowels, so he shoved paper and pen at me. Write it, I'll wait. Why so gentle now? I scrawled. Can I put this on my insurance card? 3. The room iced over. I stared at my shoes. I'd checked beforehand, other departments here take insurance. I added another line. Are you saying, you can't get it up? He read it and hissed. Whether I can get it up, don't you know? Before I could clarify, he barked at me to leave, then thrust a one-page guide on insurance reimbursement at my chest. I slunk out. Just before the door shut, I saw him clutching his stomach. Lunchtime had passed. Was his gastritis acting up again? I circled the block, not a single food cart in sight, and did a little victory dance. Opportunity knocking. Next morning I wheeled my steamed bun cart to the curb across from the hospital. I'd bragged to Maya the night before. Look, if a doctor can't eat, patients starve too. No competition, this cash is mine. 2 hours in, my pockets were bulging. As I was about to pack up, Dr. Harrington appeared. He stopped, eyes frosty. Nice, Serena. Hawking buns outside my OR. Want me to call the city inspector? I'm just earning a living. Report me if your conscience allows, my upbringing won't. And I finally found a decent side hustle. He snorted a laugh, half furious, half amused. That took you forever to find. Don't tell me you've forgotten how we met. I remember. All right. Dr. Harrington and I first ran into each other at Riverdale University's front gate. He was walking by. I was side hustling, shoving flyers into every hand that passed. Hey, classmate CET4 and CET6 prep, take a look. Not interested. How about a ghostwriting service? We'll take your roll call, even pick up your packages. Cameron, I don't need any of that. Well, have you thought about stacking up certifications during college? Teaching license, driver's license, we've got them all. 3 sentences later, he was holding more than 20 leaflets. He stared at the colorful stack, then at me, stunned. Are you using my hand as a trash can? No, I started to explain, but when I looked up I finally noticed his face. How had I missed the fact that he was drop-dead gorgeous? That face launched my full-on pursuit. He was ice-cold, though, and my pride was fragile. The terror of rejection made me play it painfully cool. Then one day I discovered the campus milk tea stand had a couple's deal. Buy 2, get the second half off. I launched a blistering offensive. The morning after we officially got together, I dragged him straight to the cart. While we queued, he trailed behind me, claiming he didn't like bubble tea. But if you insist on my company, I suppose I could. I cut him off with a wave. Relax, the drink isn't for you anyway. Then who's it for? He got his answer fast. The promo drinks were $4 each, 2 cost $6. I resold the pair for $7, netting a clean $1 profit every round. Free money, how could I resist? Sadly, I underestimated the owner's stinginess. On my 4th trip, same day, same guy, the scam was exposed. From then on, mention my side hustles and Dr. Harrington would sling sarcasm like a pro. Even now, the memory is carved into his bones. Serena, you'll never stop being a penny-pinching miser. I met his eyes and pouted. But you know my dad's illness, he cries all day at home. Before I could finish, he cut me off. Save it. I know your dad has dry eye, tearing in the wind is normal. Busted, I bristled. Well, there's still my mom, she lives for mahjong. Sure. Last month Mrs. Mom posted her national mahjong championship win, $200,000 prize. I clenched my teeth. You know my situation. I only afforded tuition by selling a goat. Dr. Harrington's fists tightened. Your family owns 2,000 goats, what's one? See. Long relationships suck, they leave you zero room to lie. But did I fold? Never. Nobody blocks my money train. So the next afternoon I staked out a spot near Riverdale General. Customers hadn't shown up when the teenage arrived. Who said you could set up here? Maine belongs to the ringleader. Pitch a cart, pay protection. I started to mock the kid for such a clumsy hustle until I spotted the hulking backups, steel bars in hand. Crap, real thugs. Ringleader, I didn't know. My families, I launched into the weepy saga of sick dad, gambling mom, and forced livestock liquidation. The teenage squad actually softened. Sounds rough, one muttered, and they turned to leave. Then I glanced down at their grimy ankles and snorted. Bad move. They whipped around, eyes murderous. Laugh at us. Smash her cart. Amid the chaos, a white coat slammed in front of me, Dr. Harrington. Damn, why's he so hot when he fights? Quit gawking, run. He hauled me into the hospital. The teenage couldn't follow, so they demolished my cart instead. I teared up watching my investment splinter. Won't help. They've hounded every vendor on Main. People are too scared to complain. Cops release miners in days. Another gold mine, gone. Sighing, I caught his ashen face, hand crushed to his stomach, sweat dripping. Hey, your gastritis again? 5. When the pain bent him double, I hauled him home. While he heated water in the kitchen, I scanned the living room and froze. My photo, framed on the side table. Still carrying a torch, Doctor. Smug, I flipped it over. Scrawled on the back. Serena forced me to date her, then dumped me. May she never earn a cent in her life. Vicious curse, no wonder my bank account's anemic. Begone, evil jinx. I was storming over to confront him when the doorbell rang. Probably my grocery drop. Grab it. Will you? He called. Curse me, then order me around, dream on. Yet my feet beat me to the door. Outside stood a lovely, gentle woman. Dr. Harrington. I made steamed buns. Oh, Serena, what are you doing here? Small world. Grace, our college campus, glowing as ever. I stopped mid-sentence. She wore loungewear, and the apartment across the hall stood ajar. You live right opposite. Just got back, haven't found a place yet. When I heard that unit was for rent, I grabbed it. What are the odds? I managed a brittle laugh. Grace kept smiling, shoving the steaming buns into my hands. Wait, I'll cook another batch, come share. She bustled back to her stove. I stared after her. Truth is, I'd sensed the chemistry between Grace and Dr. Harrington ages ago. Childhood neighbors, matching pedigrees, overlapping specialties, her gaze at him could melt steel. By the time he and I went public, their vibes were obvious. If Grace had been a home-wrecking green tea, I'd have slapped her silly. Instead, she was saintly white lotus, impossible to hate. During freshman rotc we shared a squad. One drill, disaster struck. Why does a period always pick the worst timing? I whispered for the instructor. The bonehead insisted I shout. Speak up. Project this. Jerk. Thought remained unsaid. Then Grace cut in. Sir, I need the restroom, period emergency. The instructor flushed, nodded, and Grace hauled me off. Right then, she planted herself in my head as beauty with a heart. Especially after I started dating Dr. Harrington. There were people who disliked me and said nasty things right to my face. I honestly don't get what Dr. Harrington sees in Serena. Does he have some ugly fetish? Right. Grace is obviously prettier. How could he not be tempted? I was about to stand up and fire back when I realized Grace was already standing behind them. Aren't the ugly ones actually you gossiping cows? You're nauseating. Who Dr. Harrington likes is his freedom. What's it to you? Go read a book if you're bored. Your empty heads look like stupid pigs. 6. Back then my love for Grace was overflowing. How could someone be that gorgeous, that smart, and that kind? But the more I adored her, the more a sense of inferiority wrapped around me. Grace quickly boiled a fresh plate of dumplings, set them in front of me, then slipped back to her own place. At the table Dr. Harrington and I ate in silence, heads down, yet I could feel his stolen glances. Serena, don't you have anything to say? These dumplings are legit. I scarfed them down while he slammed his chopsticks on the table. And then, what about me? My stomach's killing me, don't you have a single comforting word? I looked up, hurt flickered across his eyes. The words were right there, but I couldn't get them out. In the end I muttered awkwardly, aren't we broken up? The air curdled, I scrambled to patch it. Everyone says a good ex should act like they're dead, right? After a brief silence, Dr. Harrington twisted his lips in a sneer. Yeah, you're right. My bad for being pathetic. We're done, yet I let you in my house, so leave. His shout left me stunned. Fine. I smacked my chopsticks onto the table. Leaving it is. Who's scared? I'm busy babysitting cute guys. I'm generous, even sparing you a minute. Don't bug me again. I snatched my bag and stormed out, only to find Grace hovering at the door. What's wrong, Serena? Did you two fight? I forced a smile and bolted. The cute guy line wasn't a bluff. He showed up days later. It started when I played hero on Maine, rescuing a 3-year-old from a trafficker. The cute guy witnessed me drop-kicking 3 brutes single-handedly. His name is Julian. Claims he fell for me on the spot and insists on sticking around. He sleuthed out my channel, had his dad invest, and got himself hired just to see me more. Wait, we're not recruiting. Julian winked. We weren't until Dad pumped in $5 million. Now we are. I inhaled sharply. $5 million, like it's pocket change? I agonize 3 days over a 50-cent KFC upgrade. My day job is reporter at a shoestring lifestyle outlet. One person does the fieldwork, filming, audio, writing, and approvals. After today's meeting, the editor-in-chief handed out hot story assignments and trendy interview targets. One viral heartthrob dentist rang a bell. I peeked. Yep, Dr. Harrington himself. Should I dodge this gig? Before I could decide, the editor-in-chief barked, "You and An are on this together." 7. Translation: we're competing on the same stage. 4 years in this company and we're oil and water. And left the conference room speed dialing every contact while I used the channel's name to reach Dr. Harrington. His reply: 3 icy words. No. Unwilling to lose, I dragged Julian to Riverdale General at noon and bumped into Dr. Harrington leaving his office. Dr. Harrington, could we schedule an interview today? No. I'm busy. Don't bother me, ever. He strode off. Only Julian cowered behind me. Tell me the truth, are you two a thing? The way he looked at me could kill. A whole day, 0 footage. Back at the office, the editor-in-chief asked for updates. And sprang up, smug. Contact established. Interview approval any minute. My fists clenched. The editor-in-chief had promised, land this exclusive and score the monthly bonus. This isn't about journalism, it's rent money. While I seethed, Julian patted my shoulder. Relax, I'll call Dad. Wait, his dad isn't about to bankroll the hospital, is he? Julian returned minutes later, long-faced. Dad chewed me out. Mentioned Dr. Harrington and he lost it. Why? Julian glanced around and whispered, Dad says Dr. Harrington's background is nuclear, do not poke. I knew Dr. Harrington was loaded, his foyer had a Qing dynasty antiques the size of a fridge. Truth, you two dated? I nodded. Julian whimpered, I'm doomed. With that benchmark, how could you ever like me? He sobbed, then bounced back that afternoon hungry for gossip. Sis, how serious were you? Meet the parents. I nodded again, his eyes sparkled. And then, did his mom slap $5 million on the table and tell you to scram? I glared. Do I look that broke? Kinda. You won't even spring for extra sausage in your instant noodles. 8. I ground my teeth, because he wasn't wrong. Before meeting his parents, I'd actually Googled gift agreement templates. Hey, if she offered $5 million, I'd need a contract, right? But the first thing Mrs. Harrington said was, "You're a girl?" I blinked. Is my outfit confusing? Reading my face, she burst out laughing, grabbed my hand like I might bolt, and speed-dialed her husband. Honey, our son brought home a real live girl. Later I learned she's a colorectal surgeon. Tons of same-sex couples come for checkups, so she'd begun worrying about her celibate son. My arrival was their sunrise. We didn't exactly detonate when we split. That night I tossed until I finally yanked Dr. Harrington out of my WhatsApp block list. Hey, still awake? I hit send without expecting a reply. After all, I could block him, wasn't it just as easy for him to block me back? But the second I hit send, a reply popped up. What do you want? It's about the exclusive interview. Please help. Didn't you say a qualified ex should stay dead? I'm officially deceased. Burn paper offerings if you need something. Damn it. I knew Dr. Harrington was petty. But given our history, even if you're dead, I'll still watch a 60-second ad to resurrect you. What history is that? Exes, obviously. But saying it out loud felt weird. I thought for a second, then typed, the kind where we shared meals, watched stars and moonlight, and debated poetry and the meaning of life. The typing bubble hovered above forever, yet Dr. Harrington stayed silent. Was he actually crafting insults? Just as I started to worry, the message finally arrived. Tomorrow, 1 p.m. You get 30 minutes. I spun around my room in triumph. I could practically feel that $3,000 monthly bonus waving at me. The next day, I overheard Annie grumbling with a couple co-workers. That doctor's so full of himself, he never answers my texts. I gloated inside. I'd thought she had the interview in the bag. The moment noon hit, I grabbed my gear and rushed to Dr. Harrington. He'd just finished lunch and watched us fiddle with the camera. The channel wanted a fluffy, entertainment-style piece, so the questions skewed toward feelings. One glance at the list and cold sweat beaded on my neck. I shoved the sheet at Julian. Here, you ask. I had to dodge this bullet. Julian gaped at me. No way, sis, look at those eyes. He's gonna devour me. He doesn't bite. I plunked Julian into my chair and turned to flee, but Dr. Harrington spoke up. I only have 30 minutes and I'm slammed, so film an interview at the same time. Cornered, I snapped photos while Julian started. What's the most unforgettable relationship you've had? Seriously? Leading with the big guns? Why not ask about dreams or something? Dr. Harrington paused, then answered softly. That unforgettable love was my first and only relationship. His cool gaze flicked to me. She dumped me. Julian's gossip radar lit up. Why can't you let go? What made her special? I wanted to evaporate. Taylor, I was drenched. I could already hear the mocking tone he'd use. She's not worth liking, all drama and tantrums, solo variety shows at home, basically unhinged. I braced for the sarcasm. Instead, Dr. Harrington's expression turned serious. I loved her because she's genuinely good. Once, she spent 3 blistering hours giving CPR to a dying kitten and brought it back from the brink. She scares easily, afraid of the dark, ghosts, heights, but when it counts she's fearless. She charged a mugger to save someone and got half a front tooth knocked out. She's stingy and goofy, yet she juggled classes and side hustles through college. Her life is like fireworks, romantic and brilliant. Julian stared, then glanced back at me, stunned. My eyes watered. I still kicked his chair. Ask something professional, will you? 30 minutes, and we're airing my diary? Can any of this go into the story? Julian snapped back to reality, but before the next question, the PA blared multitrauma code, 999. Oral surgery, thoracic, neuro to the bay, stat. Before we could blink, Dr. Harrington jumped up and sprinted out. A car crash victim, face covered in blood, needed emergency care. I trailed behind and saw the team racing him to the OR. Dr. Harrington barked orders to his assistant, calm under fire. The interview died on the table. I figured I'd resume once he finished. I waited and waited until deep into the night. The crash victim came out stable that afternoon. Dr. Harrington followed the gurney out. He caught my eye, about to speak, when another patient collapsed beside us. I watched him hoist the man onto a stretcher, straddle him, and start compressions. Relatives knelt nearby, wailing. That moment, I felt the hospital's pulse, every second a duel with death. For the first time, I understood Dr. Harrington. 10. When he finally finished, it was past midnight. I sent Julian home and waited by the entrance. Dr. Harrington slumped in his office chair, clutching his cramping stomach. Why are you still here? Waiting for you. Want to grab a bite? I meant a real restaurant, but nothing was open. Instead, food carts lined the curb. What happened to the teenage? School started, family hauled him back to Riverdale University. Dr. Harrington headed for one cart. I caught his sleeve. You never ate street food before. Back when we dated, I felt the class gap. Every date was some upscale place. He'd never tasted street eats. Once I talked him into it. That night, stomach trouble sent him to the ER. I'm adapting. Figured I'd sample the earthly delicacies someone keeps raving about. He stepped toward the cart again. I yanked him back. Nope, not this cart. They were the only ones brave enough to park in teenage sold spot. When I sold steamed buns here, they stole half my customers. I'd rather starve than eat their food. Half an hour later, I tossed the last skewer stick onto the table and sighed. Ah, incredible. I hadn't wanted to cave, but their late-night skewers could be smelled 10 blocks away. Dr. Harrington picked at egg-fried rice, just enough to dull the hunger. He nudged a cube of carrot, lost in thought. I wiped my mouth and stood. He finally looked up. Serena, do you hate me? What? Do you? For not helping you first that day? Silence swallowed us both. I did, for a while. Only, every time he finished checking on me he would detour to Grace's room. Once I tailed him, quiet and curious, and caught their conversation. I really can't hold on this time. Don't tell Serena, okay? I don't want her to know about us. I had no idea what thing she meant. I only knew my heart hurt. Actually, I tried to comfort myself. Dr. Harrington had saved her because her injuries were worse than mine. It was a surgeon's triage decision. Yet hearts are strange. He hadn't chosen me, and that broke me. I realized I was selfish. Back then Dr. Harrington was still in grad school, juggling hospital rotations, racing every minute. I had no slot to pour out the mess inside me, so the knot kept tightening. In the end, I broke up with him. Reality proved he really was swamped, too swamped to even try to win me back. So the story ended. Dr. Harrington, before I met you I thought I was unstoppable. In middle school I waded into a 7-on-1 brawl to shield a bullied girl. In high school, when a teacher molested a classmate, I picketed the school board for 3 straight days. I never regretted any of it. I wore those scars like medals. I believed I was the most selfless creature alive. But in that instant I actually wondered, why didn't he reach me first? Deep down I knew, if he had, I would have condemned him for forgetting a doctor's duty. That was when I understood love can make you selfish, make you fake. I refused to become that person. I wanted to stay reckless, stay kind, drift like wind. So I calmly said goodbye and vanished from his life. Until years later, when we met again. That night, after I stormed out, Grace stopped me. We'd argued over dumplings at Dr. Harrington's place. I stomped downstairs, furious. Just outside the building Grace ran up behind me. Serena, can we talk? 3 minutes, please? From his door to the gate is exactly a 3-minute walk. Grace told me a story. Her mom and Dr. Harrington's mom had been best friends. On a trip, a crash came out of nowhere. To shield her friend, Grace's mother yanked the wheel. She was the only one who died. After that, Dr. Harrington carried a mountain of guilt, especially since Grace's father turned violent. After his wife's death he swung between rage and silence, unloading it all on his daughter. I never dared tell anyone. I made Dr. Harrington promise. When I got to Hong Kong I heard you two had split. I was terrified you'd misunderstand. I've wanted to explain forever. Sorry, Serena. I never meant to step between you. You're good. I cherish you as my best friend. I never wanted to be the reason you parted. Every visa, every form for Hong Kong, Dr. Harrington had filled them out for her. It was her ticket out, and his way to atone for his mother's survival. That night Grace clutched my hands. He loves you, I see it. For the first time someone jerks his emotions around. I brushed tears from her cheeks and smiled again. I've already let go, truly. Working as a reporter, I've seen cruelty and final farewells. Death is life's biggest checkpoint. Some stay trapped in memory, some try to patch the past. Nothing outweighs staying alive. Understanding that, I forgave Dr. Harrington and forgave the selfish girl I was. I'm still me, still the kindness people applaud. So, Dr. Harrington, I don't hate you, and I don't hate myself anymore. I'm done carrying it. I stood up and ordered 20 skewers to go. I'd gnaw them at home. As I turned, Dr. Harrington caught my wrist. He looked up, eyes glassy with tears and longing. What about us? Can we ever go back? Running into Dr. Harrington again blew my mind. I still remember the perfect weather that day. Before my consultation I checked the mirror one last time. My half-broken front tooth winked back. Then I opened the door and met a ghost from my past. My pulse spiked. But I was always the one chasing before. If I had to chase again, I'd feel a little cheated. Dr. Harrington froze, then lit up, squeezing my hand harder. This time, let me chase you. That's the line I was waiting for. I yanked him to the vendor. Step 1 of the chase: pay the bill. Boss, add 2 pork trotters. Today I could finally feast. Dr. Harrington vowed to chase me, but the man was slammed. Mornings crammed with patients, afternoons of clinic slots, emergencies popping like fireworks. Still, being pursued by a gorgeous surgeon felt amazing. During a blink-length lunch break, he texted a photo. White coat perfection, sculpted hand veined and elegant. I drooled. Dinner tonight? Chimph. Clearly he had ulterior motives. I said yes instantly, floated toward quitting time until I overheard Annie at the next desk. Who knows what she pulled to land that exclusive? I used every contact and Dr. Harrington still said no. Maybe she used other methods. No idea. My family has standards, we'd never stoop that low. She ranted, oblivious to me behind her. I tapped her back, she sprang from her chair. Share with the class, why don't you? Talking about you, so what? She hissed. Please, she's just bitter my $3,000 bonus landed in my account, not hers. You want to know my trick? Fine, come with me. Quitting time hit. I dragged her downstairs to the street, her wriggling the whole way. What are you doing? I spotted Dr. Harrington leaning against a tree, bouquet in hand. Annie stopped, eyes bouncing between him and me. No way, you too. I strode up, grabbed his tie, yanked him down, and kissed him hard. When I let go, his face flamed, hands still locked on my waist. I smirked at Annie. Get the picture? He's my boyfriend.